Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and another Monday means another swing of the banhammer, so how many fatalities were there this time? Well, just one, and it is in Pioneer, of course, because Wizards just would not have the balls to stick in a different format ban announcement in one of these Pioneer Ban Mondays. So this time they're getting rid of the M20 card, Veil of Summer. So this card, believe it or not, got up to $8.99 on Card Kingdom, and technically still is for some reason. That is, just a bit high for an uncommon. Now, during the spoiler season for M20, I think I kind of misread this card a little bit. I thought that the entire spell didn't resolve unless the first sentence was true. I now, upon reading it further, don't think that that's true, so I went to the Gatherer to check the rulings, and nope. The one question people would most often ask about a ruling on this card, they did not make a ruling for. Thanks, Wizards. So I don't know, you determine for yourself. So it says 1 green instant speed, draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Then it continues without a paragraph break, mind you. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and from black until end of turn. So the first part and the last part do dead ass nothing if your opponents aren't playing blue or black, which, I mean, that's gotta be 50% of the time. So you're drawing a dead card that does basically nothing 50% of the time. So I deem this unplayable. I mean, sideboard, oh my god, this is a crazy card. But main board, are you kidding me? No. But yeah, this is a 1-cost instant speed green cantrip counter spell otherwise. Oh, it's almost like Render Silent, because then spells you control can't be countered this turn. Like, the card's completely bonkers ass crazy, but only against a blue or black deck. That's why I'm kind of surprised that this took off in Pioneer. So since I haven't been following the format at all, I'll have to take Ian Duke's word for it in this article. So, and luckily this is very short. They said, observing the evolution of the Pioneer format after last week's bans, we're generally seeing positive changes to the metagame. Yeah, the way they described it, it sounded like World War II. So, however, green-based aggro and ramp decks still remain overrepresented. It's almost like they're a little too soft with their little inflatable banhammer that just went bonk, and nope. Green replied with, screw you, I'm trampling past your stupid inflatable carnival toy. So now they're gonna have to get out at least like a banhammer made out of wood, maybe. It's going to take like an adamantium hammer blessed by like Zeus himself to take down Oko. And hopefully in the resulting explosion, pink slips will just fly everywhere at Wizards headquarters and just fire everybody responsible. But anyway, yeah, green ramp has been really, really good in the last couple sets. And by couple sets, I mean like 3 years. So yeah, I'm not that surprised. So therefore, we are banning Veil of Summer to better allow for natural metagame forces to provide counter pressure against these strategies. Yeah, blue... I could stop green, kind of. Black, oh yeah, black is going to stop green. Like, probably better than white can. And red is just a green wannabe. So, yeah, black really should be able to stop green, but not with this card. Although Death Touchers, come on, guys. Although it is possible that a line of 1/1 Death Touchers wouldn't be, like, fast enough or durable enough for Pioneer. I'm not sure. Yeah, the real problem is that this card stops kill spells. So we expect this to increase incentive to play reactive strategies that will help keep the format in balance over the long term without fundamentally changing any of the diversity of decks currently available in Pioneer. Yeah, this is very specifically keep green alive and shut down these two colors. So banning this will have like no impact on the rest of the meta. So I think they're just seeing a problem and they're like whack-a-moling it down. And once in a while they actually hit the mole. But considering the last ban didn't go hard enough, just stuff some dynamite down that mole hole and blow them straight back to hell. I mean, that's what you do. That's right, I'm suggesting that they ban the entire color green. Green, do we really need it? I mean, white is just green but more reasonable, you know what I mean? So anyway, they finished the article with, well, follow up with further changes if needed next Monday, November 18th, but please note that the Pioneer update will take place that afternoon, separate from the regularly scheduled ban and restricted update for other formats. Really? I mean, we already know what it's going to say. Maybe this time they'll actually be proactive, and instead of just, we're going to ban one of the 12 problems in Standard, they'll just ban all or most of them, all at once, because they cannot afford, I mean literally with money, cannot afford to wait any longer to fix Standard. They cannot afford that. So they need to look at Cavalcade, they need to look at Torbrand, they need to look at Agent of Treachery, they need to look at Golos or Goros or whoever the hell that asshole is. Nissa who shakes that ass. Garuk, I mean, just look at all the problems and say, do we really still want this bullshit in standard, or is it going too far? In the players' opinions. Is this a fun card, a fair card that promotes enjoyable gameplay, or is it not? Because you'd be fucking crazy to say that Cavalcade is a fun and fair card. And if you say Torbrand is, I will slap you. To this day, nobody can tolerate the 3-cost Teferi. That's ridiculous. I can't cast counterspells for the entire rest of the game or any kind of combat ambush. Really. The cannot be countered, automatic, cannot be removed, emblem dumping Chandra. Oh, what a fun card. They need to cut the head off of everything I just mentioned, bare minimum. I think there's at least 3 or 4 I'm forgetting. And just think how nice and awesome and flexible and wide open and power level appropriate standard would be without all that garbage. I mean, really think about it. Like, what could people actually play? Probably every major good archetype from every single set. I think every single one of them, within reason, would be playable. Can you imagine a meta where you look at the top 32 decks at the next tournament and every single one of them is different? Or you go to FNM and every single person you play against is playing a different deck? Because the power level will be suppressed back down to what it was designed for. Because remember, like, you look at Ixalan, all 4 of the tribes were meant to beat each other. Like, they are, it's not like rock, paper, scissors. It's like, okay, you go dinosaurs against merfolk. Both of them have a pretty reasonable chance of winning. I'm sure one of them has a slight edge, but even vampires versus dinosaurs, either one could win. Okay, that's the power level that standard was designed for. Then people later start mixing stuff up from different sets and this and that, and they build this degenerate overpowered shit, usually headed up by 1 or 2 cards. And then every other deck they intended to be playable ceases to be any kind of viable option. And that is bad. I mean, I don't want Magic to turn into what I've heard Hearthstone described as, where it's like you build this deck, you build that deck, and you're crazy if you build anything else. Like, at least a couple years ago, people were telling me there is just exactly one way to build this. There's no creativity. You build it this way, you get the cards, and that's that. Choosing what deck to play is a thing, but there's no, oh, I'm going to tweak this a little bit. It's just you're building the deck. And the decks clear as day were intended by the developers of the game and the playtesters. So I don't want Ixalan to come out and then you have to play one of the 4 tribal decks and that's it. Those are your only options. Nothing else mixes together because they refuse to print anything good that universally works with other cards. But what they need to do is stop printing crazy shit like Oko and the Scarab God and Teferi and the entire mechanic called Mill. So I'm all about fun, interesting cards where your first impression of it is like, whoa, I could do some stuff with that. But like, that's what you need to playtest. Like, there should be high priority cards that are like, okay, this is very pushing the power. We need to play every combination of this, build every conceivable deck with it, and make sure it's not out of control, oppressive, and unfun. Fun should be the number one thing. And they don't consider that. So we'll see if all they ban is Oko on Monday, because I really, really, really think they will. And I think that'll be a mistake. They'd have to do it purely based on speculation and by player feedback, because there is no meta right now. It's Oko or everything else equally loses. It doesn't matter. There is no secondary deck. Well, Red Rush Cavalcade Torbrand is pretty badass. But other than that, they can't say, well, and also we found another problematic deck. There is no other deck. The couple other things that did well at the Mythic Championship, they were a fluke. Like, yeah, Rakdos Death Trigger decks. Shocker, those are kind of good. Doesn't mean that that's the second deck or second best deck in the world. Not by one result with one person at a tiny tournament with a tiny sample size. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I think on Monday they'd really have to be stretching and reaching and realizing how bad the situation is to take the unbelievably daring step to pre-ban some things that they suspect will continue to be problematic. They'll either have to lean on really old statistics before Oko completely took over. We're talking when Field of the Dead was played. Or they're going to go the other way with it and just be completely delusional, lie to themselves and say, oh, I'm sure Standard will be fine after Oko's gone. It won't. It won't. There's too many toxic cards. And their usual opinion of, well, it'll just have to get by until something changes. No, adding fuel to the fire with the next set is probably not going to help. And the next ban, or the next cycle out, next rotation, is like 9 months away or 10 months away or something. So I have a feeling they're just going to say, well, okay, Oko will be gone, we're going to leave it, and then we'll see. We'll wait a month and we'll see. Well, we'll see isn't good enough, Wizards. We'll see if your people in the playtesting department get a fucking clue. How about that for we'll see? You don't have to ban anything if you don't print it in the first place. Just send out a little memo email to everybody in the company. We are no longer allowed to make removal abilities a plus on a Planeswalker. There you go. Good first step. And then also you're all fired. So anyway, getting back to this Veil of Summer ban, were people actually mainboarding this? Like, are you serious? Are you actually kidding me right now? Please tell me this is a sideboard card and it just shut down those decks in the second and third game. And will this solve the problem? Did they go far enough? Let me answer your question with another question. Have you ever heard of the card Heroic Intervention? It's a 2-cost green instant that says permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So you can use it defensively and in combat on the swing and at instant speed as an ambush. In fact, I got a better question for you. Why were people running Veil of Summer when Heroic Intervention is a better card? I know it costs, double the mana, which is not insignificant, but still, seriously. If there's one color that has mana left over for free, it's green, okay? People are just gonna run Heroic Intervention now. The card's gonna spike in price. In fact, it's already like $11. And honestly, it was around that when it was in Standard. And yeah, unless I'm forgetting something, I think there is a 1-cost single hexproof. I thought it was around Kaladesh. I don't know. I could be wrong, though. It could have been Origins. Who knows? But yeah, they're either going to run that or they're going to run Heroic. And then they're going to realize, whoa, this is a way better card. I probably do have 2, and I can use this on offense, and I can still ambush people in the middle of combat with it. And yeah, the other one couldn't do that. It's just a counter spell, basically. Hexproof Bouncy Bounce Shield is the same damn thing. I will say, though, the card replaced itself in cost 1. It was basically a 0-cost counter spell for green. This one costs 2 and does not replace itself. But if they want to save their creatures, which is the point, with Green Rush and Trample and all that, you probably only have to do it once. So I think that they're going to have to start targeting the worst of the worst creatures. I think that's all they can do. Otherwise, they're going to have to get rid of, I don't even know what people are playing. I'll just assume Hardened Scales or something, that counter doubler from that one set. I should really just look up the top decks in Frontier at some point, but I played in the last 5 years. I have a pretty good concept of what people played. So yeah, I look forward to seeing a bunch of creatures get banned next Monday. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.